Hello, gentle souls. Welcome to Silver Veil Tarot. Today, we'll be doing a long, in-depth love reading for 2026. In this reading, we'll explore your current energy as you enter 2026. We'll look at patterns and past influences that are still shaping your love life. I just noticed how I wrote 2025 at the top. Well, it could be that parts of that year are still influencing your love life today. Let's see what comes through. In the reading, we'll also explore love opportunities coming your way, the energy surrounding these connections, and timing in an intuitive, gentle sense. We'll also look at any challenges you may encounter, what these experiences are meant to teach you, and how to align with your highest good in love, along with guidance and messages from Spirit meant to support your heart. This is a long reading. Take your time with it, grab a drink, a snack, and get comfortable. We have 3 piles today. Take a moment to ground yourself, take a deep breath, and connect with your intuition. Pile 1 is paired with yellow sulfur. Pile 2 is paired with purple amethyst. Pile 3 is paired with rose quartz. Choose the pile you feel most drawn to. Take all the time you need. You can pause the video here if you'd like. I'll see you at your reading. Welcome, Pile 1. If you chose the yellow sulfur, this is going to be your reading. Yellow sulfur carries the energy of transformation, change, and movement. Let's see what's ready to move in your love life. Your card is Archangel Gabriel. You have an important mission in life, especially in the areas of communication and the arts. Don't let insecurities hold you back. Help is available. This card is encouraging you to step into your gifts and your mission, whatever that looks like for you. Don't let doubts or insecurities block your path. Step into your abilities and trust yourself. Now, we'll begin looking at your current energy and love as you enter 2026. 5 of Pentacles. 5 of Swords. There's a clear theme of loss and exhaustion. There's a lack here, a lack that is felt, that is experienced, that carries weight. Maybe you've recently been through the ending of a relationship. Maybe it was a difficult breakup, or even a series of connections that didn't quite align with what you were looking for. Maybe someone you care about hasn't been fully present, or hasn't shown the kind of commitment or attention you were hoping for. Sometimes it's subtler. You might feel unseen in interactions, or you may question whether your efforts are reciprocated. Maybe you've been single and there's been a lingering fear that someone who truly sees you isn't coming yet. But it doesn't have to be about love at all. Maybe you had a fallout with someone, a friend, a family member. Maybe you lost your job. Maybe you don't like your job and you haven't shifted paths yet. There may have been financial worries, feelings of instability. It could also be internal. You may have moments where you doubt yourself or your value, wondering if you're asking for too much, or worrying that love will never fully meet you where you are. There's a sense of loss, profound. There's a sense of dissatisfaction bordering on grief, and there's a sense of having lost battles with someone you were involved with, but it could be a coworker, a friend, a family member. I feel like you're exhausted, that you feel defeated. You're entering 2026 with this energy, but I noticed that both cards are number 5, and I feel that's a good reminder that these energies will remain in 2025. So as you enter this new year, take a moment to acknowledge the struggles and honor your resilience. The cards are asking you to acknowledge where you've been hurt and to honor the lessons learned. I'm called to pull a card representing how you currently show up in love. The Tower. The Tower is very telling. It may represent the ending of a relationship. Maybe it was an important one. Perhaps you've been together for a long time. Or maybe it simply indicates that it was very significant for you. It wasn't a relationship that served your highest good, but I feel like you didn't want it to end, or if you came to the conclusion that it was for the best, it was incredibly painful to omit. This connection didn't have the presuppositions to grow into a healthy, loving, and stable relationship, and it had to end for you to be able to find love in a good way. Or maybe you had a sudden clarity about a connection that wasn't serving you, deciding to step away from patterns that no longer feel aligned, or choosing honesty and integrity even when it's uncomfortable. Maybe you are releasing illusions about love, the fantasies, the what ifs, or the ways you've been holding on to people, situations, or expectations that weren't real or healthy. It's not gentle energy, but it is liberating. Even if the tower feels intense, remember that destruction is only the first step to rebuild on more solid foundations. Moving on. As we enter 2026, it's a powerful moment to observe the cycles and dynamics that have been repeating, to honor the lessons they've taught, and to begin consciously releasing what no longer aligns with your highest good. Some of these patterns might involve how you communicate, how you allow yourself to be seen, or even how you choose partners. Others may be tied to fears of vulnerability, attachment styles, or recurring challenges that keep showing up. The devil. Four of Cups. Oh, there's a lot here to unpack. The devil can signify a toxic relationship. The energy can also show where the attraction to someone is prioritized over true emotional fulfillment. It could be codependency, leaning too heavily on someone else for emotional stability, validation, or identity. This could look like constantly putting their needs above your own, waiting for them to change, or being afraid to walk away because it feels safer to stay. Relationships motivated by fear of being alone, fear of missing out. The key is that these patterns are often unconscious. They can feel normal because you've lived with them for a long time. The devil asks you to look honestly at the ways you might be bound by fear, habit, or old conditioning, and take steps to free yourself. Breaking this pattern might look like setting boundaries with people, including romantic partners, family, or friends. Releasing toxic relationships or situations that no longer serve you. Healing old wounds through reflection, therapy, journaling, or spiritual practices. Choosing self-respect and self-love. 2026 could be a year for transformation, liberation, and stepping into love from a place of freedom and clarity. The next pattern to be broken is represented by the Four of Cups. The Four of Cups often shows up when we are emotionally withdrawing or stuck in dissatisfaction. It's also saying that you chose an unfulfilling situation over new opportunities. You were sad or disappointed in this situation, but you kept your focus there, rather than opening yourself to what was available. It could also be that you felt resistant to new connections because past heartbreak still lingers. Breaking this pattern is about opening yourself again. It's about engaging with life and love in a curious, present, and receptive way. Now, let's look at past influences that are shaping your love life as you enter 2026. The Magician. The World. These two cards together suggest that your past hasn't just shaped you, it has equipped you. Maybe a past relationship made you discover what you truly wanted and needed in a partner. Maybe you learned to take the lead in creating connection, whether by initiating conversations, planning dates, or expressing yourself clearly. The world shows us that past cycles have ended, and with that, you've gained wisdom, clarity, and experience. The key here is that you already have everything you need to create meaningful, fulfilling love. Past experiences have equipped you with the tools to manifest the relationships you want. I can't help but notice how your current energy ties in. The Magician gave you tools, the world gave you growth, and now the Tower is pushing you to rebuild on that solid foundation. Even if you've experienced loss, heartbreak, or frustration, you now carry the skills to step into 2026 with hope. Now, let's turn to opportunities coming into your love life in 2026. The Hermit flew out of my hands. Page of Swords. Ace of Wands. Four of Swords. Six of Cups. Page of Cups. Okay, first, we have a deeply introspective energy. The Hermit and the Four of Swords speak of a period where it would be best not to actively seek out relationships. Instead, 2026 may begin with a time of retreat, reflection, and focusing on yourself. This is about rebuilding everything that the Tower has destroyed, healing old wounds, and gaining clarity on what you truly want from love. Spirit is asking you to turn inward, not outward, for now. Archangel Gabriel, your first card, reminds you that guidance and support are available. Listen to intuition, thoughts, and signs as you step into this quiet period. You might find yourself enjoying solitude, taking trips alone, spending more time with hobbies or creative pursuits. This is a season of strengthening your inner world. If a potential connection shows up, the cards suggest pausing and observing. For those currently in a relationship, this period may manifest as slowing down or stepping back to evaluate what you truly need. Reflection can help you avoid repeating past patterns and build a stronger foundation for future love. Honestly, pile one, I don't see you entering 2026 already in a relationship. If you are in a relationship or situationship, this is the time to pause and consider whether it truly aligns with your needs and desires. Moving on to the Page of Swords. This could be a new person, but actually, the Six of Cups as a clarifier suggests me that it could be someone from your past. You'll see. If it's someone new, the feelings will be very tender and the enthusiasm childlike. If it's not, the Six of Cups brings sweetness, nostalgia, and warmth. It's the kind of card that says, there's a gentle familiarity here, like your heart recognizes something comforting. The Page of Swords as a person is someone who is mentally curious and observant. Someone who initiates conversation but keeps it light at first. Someone who enjoys talking late at night, sharing ideas, thoughts, opinions. Someone who flirts intellectually more than emotionally at the beginning. Someone who wants honesty, clarity, and open communication. This is not someone who rushes in blindly. They watch, they listen, they pick up on details that others miss. They may not always say everything they're thinking right away, but their mind is very active. This is someone who wants to understand you before fully engaging. They ask questions. I remember small things you said weeks ago. They might look a little detached on the surface, but internally they're processing everything. Let's break it down by scenario because the way this shows up will differ depending on your current relationship situation. If you're single, this could be meeting someone new who intrigues you, challenges your mind, or brings a spark of playful interest. It's the type of connection that starts with conversation, banter, and curiosity. You could meet someone at a workshop, in class, at an event, or social setting where conversation flows naturally. Or it could be a connection through social media or friends of friends that sparks curiosity, intrigue, and playful emotional energy. It could even be someone from your past reaching out, and this time the circumstances are better, you both have grown, so it could feel different and safer. If you're in a situationship or a complicated connection, this energy is fascinating. The Page of Swords reflects tentative curiosity, testing the waters, and subtle observation, while the Six of Cups adds a sense of comfort. It suggests that if this is the person you're in a situationship with, there is the potential for emotional fulfillment. But be mindful that the page is still early energy. It's playful, tentative, exploratory, not a mature, grounded commitment yet. If you're in a relationship, there might be a period of exploration within your current relationship. Perhaps new conversations, discovering previously unknown aspects of your partner, or playful, intellectually stimulating exchanges. The Six of Cups reminds you that even in long-term relationships, there's an opportunity to rekindle innocence and joy, to revisit the fun energy that might have been lost in day-to-day routines. It could look like revisiting old favorite spots, traditions, or hobbies together, sharing memories in a way that makes your bond feel lighter, warmer, trying new ways to communicate that feel fun, playful, and refreshing. There is also something very tender here that I want to point out about these cards. This combination carries a strong inner child healing energy. This opportunity may come into your life not only to bring connection, but to reframe old emotional narratives. You may realize that the way you learned to communicate love in the past, how you protected yourself, how you spoke up or stayed silent, can now be softened. This can look like learning to ask for what you need without fear, or allowing yourself to be playful, open, and emotionally expressive without anticipating loss. You might notice yourself feeling younger emotionally around this person, not in an immature way, but in a lighter, more hopeful way. Laughing more easily, feeling safe to ask questions, feeling curious rather than guarded. That's inner child healing in action. Another love opportunity coming in for you in 2026 is shown by the Ace of Wands, clarified by the Page of Cups. This feels very different. After everything we've seen, the Tower, the Devil, the Four of Cups, this is a new beginning. This looks like feeling excited again in a way you almost forgot was possible. You might catch yourself smiling at your phone. You might feel drawn to someone without overthinking it. The door opening in your love life doesn't open quietly. It opens through attraction, chemistry, and a sense of excitement that wakes you up again after everything the Tower has broken down. But what makes this combination so important is that it doesn't stay on a surface level. The Ace of Wands may light the flame, but the Page of Cups is the one who brings emotion into it. This is how passion softens into feeling. How something playful turns tender. How a spark turns into a connection that actually touches your heart. If you are single, this is a new person, and it's not the same person as the Page of Swords. You may meet someone who makes you feel inspired again and brings excitement. While the Page of Swords shows someone who comes in through conversation, curiosity, light banter, messages, and mental stimulation, someone who wants to talk, ask questions, stay in touch, the Ace of Wands speaks of someone who comes in through chemistry, through attraction, through that spark that's impossible to ignore. This connection may start very lighthearted. It may start without labels. It may start as something casual, playful, or undefined. For some of you, yes, it could look like a situationship at first. There's laughter, flirting, curiosity, excitement. But what changes everything is the Page of Cups. Because the Page of Cups as a person is someone who catches feelings. This is someone who becomes emotionally invested without necessarily planning to. Starts by keeping things light, then realizes they care. Who expresses affection in small, sincere ways. Someone who is emotionally open. They might not come in saying, I'm looking for something serious. They come in saying, I like talking to you. I like being around you. And before they know it, their feelings are involved. This is not someone playing a game. This is someone who didn't expect the spark to turn into emotion, but it does. What starts casually doesn't stay empty. What starts playful doesn't stay shallow. The feelings grow because the connection feels safe, fun, and emotionally accessible. And for you, Pile 1, this is important. Because after the Devil in the Tower, you're not meant to jump straight into something heavy or consuming. You're meant to ease back into love, letting it unfold naturally instead of forcing it to be something immediately defined. This person may surprise themselves by how much they feel, and you may be surprised by how easy it feels compared to what you've known before. It's light at first, but it's not meaningless. It's casual at first, but it's not careless. And the feelings that come after, they're real. If you're in a situationship or complicated connection, this energy is very telling. This looks like someone wanting to explore feelings, but in a gentle, non-pressuring way. There is attraction, but it's paired with emotional curiosity rather than emotional avoidance. You might see someone opening up emotionally where they didn't before, a soft confession, an honest conversation, or an emotionally vulnerable moment. A shift from ambiguity into emotional expression, even if it's still tentative. If you're in a relationship, this combination suggests a renewal of passion through emotional vulnerability. Maybe there's renewed excitement because you're expressing feelings more freely. Maybe you allow yourselves to dream, flirt, or be playful together again. This could look like talking about feelings you hadn't expressed before, rekindling romance through emotional honesty, allowing joy, creativity, and play back into the relationship. The Ace of Wands says, the passion isn't gone. The Page of Cups says, it returns when you lead with the heart rather than fear or defensiveness. Energetically, what this opportunity is teaching you, desire doesn't have to hurt. Attraction doesn't have to be unhealthy to be real. Emotional openness is strength. New beginnings can be gentle, not explosive. The Ace of Wands wants to reignite your spark. The Page of Cups wants to teach you how to protect your heart without closing it. This opportunity feels like a soft re-entry into love, where excitement and emotion coexist peacefully. Let's look at timing. Tarot points to timing gently, intuitively, and symbolically, not as fixed dates carved in stone. Three of Cups. Justice. Five of Wands. I have to say, this, with the Hermit and Four of Swords, the Three of Cups feels more like after a period of emotional isolation ends. The Three of Cups is about re-emerging into life, seeing people again, reconnecting socially, feeling light enough to celebrate something, even in small ways. So the timing here is after you've rested, after you've pulled back, after you've processed what needed healing. This could be when you say yes to a dinner, a birthday, a gathering, a casual invitation. For a few of you, this could be 3 months. But in general, it's when life feels more open and social again. So the timing isn't go looking. It's when you naturally rejoin the world. Justice for the Page of Sword. Justice's timing is not about speed. It's about alignment. Justice points to the sign Libra, so it could be Libra season. September, October. Justice is number 11, so it can absolutely point to November for some of you, especially if that month already feels significant. But more importantly, justice is not rushed. It arrives when it makes sense, when the scales are balanced. For the Ace of Wands and Page of Cups, we have the Five of Wands, and for a few of you, this points to May. But for most of you, you'll recognize the period just before. You're juggling things, there's a bit of chaos, you're not fully focused on love. You're distracted by work, creativity, social life, and that actually fits the Ace of Wands perfectly. This connection doesn't come in during stillness, it comes in during motion. Now, we move on to what love will be trying to teach you in 2026. This is about the lesson beneath the experiences, what love is asking you to understand. Nine of Cups. King of Swords. Love is asking you to remember that you don't need another person to feel complete. Before seeking connection externally, there's a deep internal work, recognizing your own desires, honoring your emotional needs, and letting yourself truly feel satisfied on your own. Find fulfillment within yourself. What brings you joy? What makes your heart feel full without needing someone else to validate it? Maybe it's pursuing a hobby you've been putting off, nurturing friendships, or just taking the time to feel proud of yourself. There might have been a tendency in the past to rely on someone else to fill gaps in your life, and 2026 is gently reminding you, you don't need anyone else to feel satisfied emotionally. Then, the King of Swords invites you to master your thoughts, especially when it comes to those intrusive, anxious, or what-if thoughts about love. This king is asking you to step back and observe your thinking with clarity, to not let fear dictate your decisions. It's also about boundaries, knowing when to say yes and when to say no, and making choices in love from a place of discernment, not desperation. You can feel emotions fully, but let your mind guide you in a structured way. This might look like taking time for yourself before jumping into new relationships, not chasing someone who doesn't treat you fully aligned with your value, reflecting on past patterns and making conscious decisions to break cycles that no longer serve you, communicating clearly and decisively when someone new enters your life. Love in 2026 wants you to be both emotionally full and mentally clear. Your heart and mind need to work together as a team so that any connection you form is balanced, healthy, and aligned with your highest good. Let's dive into the challenges that 2026 may present in your love life. Emperor. Queen of Pentacles. This could indicate rigid thinking, over-controlling energy. Perhaps you or someone in your love life tends to want things a certain way, or there's a fear of letting go and allowing things to unfold naturally. You could be feeling the need to plan every detail of a new connection, leaving little room for spontaneity. Maybe someone in your orbit is very set in their ways, making compromise it difficult. Maybe you have an internal pressure, like, I have to get this right, that can create tension in your heart or with a partner. The Queen of Pentacles talks about over-investing without reciprocity. You might be tempted to take care of someone else's emotional or practical needs at the expense of your own boundaries. You could always being the one to organize plans, offer emotional support, or smooth over conflicts. There's a lesson in setting clear boundaries and be mindful of what you want and need. Let's move on to looking at how you can align yourself to the highest good in love. The Magician. The World. I can't believe this. These exact cards showed up as the past influences on the present. It's like Spirit is saying, yes, you are aligned. Keep going. You might notice that everything we've explored already, your patterns, past heartbreaks, the lessons the Tower and the Devil brought, is already part of preparing you for this moment. Maybe some of it resonates deeply. Maybe, deep down, you've already sensed the truth about your past, your present, and what you're capable of in love. As guidance, these cards ask you to claim your power and trust the process. You already have all the tools you need: emotional intelligence, experience, intuition, and creativity. You have the ability to set boundaries, communicate clearly, and know what you truly want. You can manifest connections that align with your values and intentions rather than repeating old patterns. Your past experiences, the Tower, the Devil, even the heartbreak of the Five of Pentacles, have equipped you with the insight to recognize what is healthy and what isn't. There's a sense of empowerment and completeness here. The tools are in your hands and the path forward is guided. Now, I was about to pull oracle cards as the ending of the reading, but I remembered something I meant to do and then forgot as we went on. I had the idea of exploring the energy of the potential connections you would have encountered in 2026. The Page of Swords and the Page of Cups with the Ace of Wands. Let's do it now. Let's see the energy of these connections. Nine of Pentacles for the Page of Swords. The Emperor for the Page of Cups. The Emperor showed up as one of your challenges. We'll dive into it, but let's start with the Nine of Pentacles. This speaks to a balanced and harmonious bond. Both of you are likely leading fulfilling lives, independent yet compatible. Your daily rhythms, priorities, or lifestyles might naturally complement each other, which makes interactions feel easy, flowing, and uplifting. This is a connection where you don't feel dependent on the other for happiness. Instead, there's mutual respect for each other's autonomy. It's a beautiful, grounded energy. One of those relationships where you can grow together while thriving individually. For singles, this could indicate someone entering your life whose energy matches your lifestyle or ambitions. Now, the energy of the Emperor in the context of this connection with the Page of Cups, this connection may feel significant. Through this connection, there's a clear opportunity for growth. The Emperor energy asks you to engage with responsibility, boundaries, and self-mastery within the relationship. It may challenge you to navigate control, structure, and balance, both in how the connection functions and in how you show up. As the Emperor showed up as a challenge, this relationship could teach you how to maintain your sense of self while being involved with someone significant. It may push you to recognize what you need to feel secure, how to set healthy boundaries, and how to co-create stability and respect with a partner. In essence, the Emperor energy frames this connection as a teacher, guiding you to grow in your understanding of love, partnership, and self-respect. If you're single, this connection with the Page of Cups could start very lighthearted, as we saw earlier, but it could end up in a serious commitment. And you might find yourself learning patience, how to navigate someone's boundaries, and how to create trust step by step. If you're in a situationship or a casual connection, the Emperor energy might bring a shift. Suddenly, what felt lighthearted or playful is being nudged towards structure. For those already in a relationship, this connection can act like a mirror. The Emperor energy highlights patterns of control, responsibility, or lack thereof. It asks you both to reflect, are you supporting each other in a balanced way? Are you co-creating a foundation that will sustain the relationship long term? Across all scenarios, it's a dynamic that can lead to a deeply meaningful, lasting connection. I wanted to pull cards also for how this connection would feel like. Ace of Pentacles, Six of Wands. For the Page of Swords, the energy is incredibly promising. This is a stable, tangible new beginning, something you can build on. There's a sense of security, a feeling that things are real and concrete. At the same time, it's a seed. The ace is a beginning. You might feel excited, curious, and grounded at the same time, like you're stepping into something that aligns with your values and your vision of a healthy relationship. If you're already with someone, this could represent a period of grounding and practical growth within the relationship. You might work on building more stability, long-term plans, or shared responsibilities. It's the kind of energy where small, steady steps matter more than grand gestures. For the Page of Cups, this connection would feel joyful, uplifting, and full of recognition. You would feel seen, admired, and appreciated, not just for your energy, but for who you are at your core. There's also a sense of victory here, as if love itself is cheering you on. It's the kind of connection that boosts your confidence and makes you feel like you're exactly where you're meant to be emotionally. Okay, this brings us to the end of the exploration of your love connections for 2026. We've seen how your current energy is shaping the experiences you attract, the opportunities on the horizon, and the ways love may show up in your life. Now, let's turn to guidance from Spirit and the Oracle cards to support you in aligning with your highest good in love for 2026. I meant to pull only 2 cards, but then your energy showed up as the Tower, and I felt like you would need a little bit more guidance. Our first guidance card is Creativity and Self-Expression, number 12. Its affirmation reads, I create my own world, and I can communicate it. This card is inviting you to step fully into your own expression, to honor your unique voice, desires, and energy. Communicate your needs, desires, and boundaries clearly. This card reminds me of the message we received earlier from Archangel Gabriel, which talked about communication, but also about creativity and the arts. Both cards are reminding you that your unique voice, your talents, and your self-expression are powerful tools, not only in love, but in life. For some of you, it may be especially relevant. Follow your creative pursuits. In love, this is also a reminder that the way you show up in the world will attract the right people to you. The second is Decision and Reorientation, number 13. It ties in beautifully with I create my own world. It's about creating your own reality rather than waiting for someone else to shape it for you. It invites to take ownership of your love life. After everything we've explored in this reading, past patterns, opportunities, challenges, and potential connections, this card is a gentle reminder that you are the one in charge of your heart. No one else can decide what love looks like for you or what is acceptable and fulfilling in your relationships. This message of decision and reorientation is especially relevant considering your Tower energy earlier in the reading. You're not just reacting to what's been lost or disrupted, you're actively choosing how to move forward. You get to decide what love, connection, and emotional fulfillment will look like for you in 2026. The Tower cleared the space, and decision and reorientation gives you the tools to fill it with intentional, aligned choices. Then we have Keep Going. This reminds me of the Magician and the World cards we've seen twice during the reading. Spirit is really screaming, you're on the right path. Keep going. Keep trusting yourself, keep moving forward, and don't give up on your heart or your growth. This is encouragement to continue embracing your journey, even when things feel uncertain, even when love feels complicated. And finally, we have Peaceful Resolution. This card brings a sense of calm and closure. It's a reminder that no matter what challenges or changes you encounter in love, things have the potential to settle in a harmonious, balanced way. Whether it's healing old wounds, learning from past patterns, or navigating new connections, there's a peaceful outcome waiting for you. And that brings us to the end of your 2026 love reading. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. I hope the insights, guidance, and reflections resonated with you. If this reading spoke to you, feel free to leave a comment, share your thoughts, or just say hi. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Soberville Tarot for more readings. Take care, trust your intuition, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Welcome, Pile 2. If you chose this beautiful amethyst, this is going to be a reading. Amethyst carries the energy of intuition, spiritual insight, and inner clarity. Your card is Caressa. You are at the end of a cycle in your life. Call upon your spirit guides to comfort you and help you take the next step. Happiness awaits you. Now, we'll begin looking at your current energy in love as you enter 2026. Ten of Swords. Eight of Wands. I couldn't agree more with Caressa. This is truly the end of a cycle. It may feel painful, abrupt, or heavy, like something you invested in has run its course. Perhaps a relationship ended, maybe unexpectedly or in a way that left you feeling wounded. Or maybe this isn't strictly about a romantic connection. It could be a cycle of patterns, old habits, or situations that no longer serve you. The energy is one of finality and completion, urging you to release what's no longer aligned with your highest good. Maybe you've just been through a tough breakup. Maybe a disappointment in your personal life. Maybe you've had a situation where you kept giving, hoping it would work, or waiting for someone or something to change. Perhaps you've been the one trying to fix things while feeling drained. The Ten of Swords says, that chapter has closed. You are not meant to stay in exhaustion or heartbreak. It's time to step forward. Even though the Ten of Swords is intense, it's also deeply transformative. The ending it signal is clearing space for something new. Just like Caressa reminds us, guidance and support are available. You are not alone as you step forward into the next chapter. Pain is temporary, but clarity and growth are lasting. Before interpreting the Eight of Wands, I wanted to pull one card first to see how you're showing up in love at present. Three of Pentacles. This is beautiful because it tells me that you're in a learning phase. You're willing to put in the effort, to grow, to understand yourself and others. You may be focused on your work, studies, or building your life, but even so, you approach love with intention. You're not passive. You want to learn, you want to understand, and you're ready to contribute to a healthy dynamic when the time comes. Now, moving to the Eight of Wands, I feel like this is a very important card here because it points to a prompt recovery after the Ten of Swords. Energy is picking up. Things are moving fast, and in a way that brings new opportunities, clarity, or shifts in your current love life. If you're currently in a relationship, the Eight of Wands may reflect a turning point after disappointments or conflict. Maybe there have been fights, misunderstandings, or lingering grief, small or large. But the energy here is that healing and movement are possible. Reconciliation, progress, or renewed communication could be on the horizon. The card suggests that the period of heaviness is easing and forward motion is appearing. If you're single, the Eight of Wands may point to the end of a painful connection, maybe a breakup or a period of unrequited feelings. But the key here is hope and forward motion. It signals that energy is shifting, doors are opening, and the new chapter is ready to flow in. Love may appear faster than expected, or opportunities that felt stuck may suddenly gain clarity. Even if you're in a situationship, this card brings encouragement. Perhaps boundaries or clarity are about to arrive, or communication will improve. The Eight of Wands shows that energy won't remain stagnant. Things will either move forward or fall away in a way that frees you. The Eight of Wands is hopeful. It speaks of movement, of energy picking up, of a new chapter starting to flow. Things won't stay stuck in the grief or the ending for long. Moving on, as we enter 2026, it's a powerful moment to observe the cycles and dynamics that have been repeating, to honor the lessons they've taught, and to consciously release what no longer serves you. What recurring love pattern is ready to be broken this year? Death. The Hermit. Death is asking you to let go fully, not just of a person or situation, but also of old habits, fears, or mindsets that no longer serve your growth and love. If you've tended to cling to relationships that drain you, patterns that repeat heartbreak, or attachment to outcomes rather than authentic connection, this is your invitation to break that cycle. The lesson of death is clear. Release the old completely so there's room for something healthier to grow. With the Hermit, I feel like maybe you've been too closed off. Maybe you've been isolating yourself or withdrawing from love. In 2026, you are being asked to balance introspection with openness. Take the time to understand yourself and what you truly want, but don't hide your heart or shut yourself off from connection. Being introspective is powerful, but the cycle to break here is avoidance, the tendency to retreat into safety at the expense of love. This energy could also speak to a desire to wait, to feel perfectly healed before opening yourself up to love again. You might feel like you need to process everything, rebuild yourself completely, or achieve total clarity before stepping into a connection. But here's the thing, you don't have to wait for perfection. Growth, learning, and transformation can absolutely happen within a relationship. Love can be a space for healing, reflection, and expansion, not just something that happens after you've fixed everything about yourself. This card is also a reminder that you don't need to wait for permission from yourself or anyone else to love and be loved. The Hermit is saying, trust your inner guidance and don't hide from love. Healing and love can happen simultaneously. If you're single, this could mean being open to new connections, even if you feel you haven't finished processing the past. For those in a relationship, it might be about leaning into vulnerability instead of retreating when challenges arise. Now, let's explore the past influences on your present love energy. These cards show us what experiences, lessons, or energies from the past are still shaping how you engage in love today, consciously or unconsciously. The Star. The Page of Pentacles. Immediately, this is a very hopeful, healing energy. The Star is the energy of clarity, inspiration, and being guided by a higher force, whether that's your intuition, spirit, or simply the lessons life has taught you. It speaks to the moments in your past where, even if things didn't go as you hoped in love, you found a thread of hope. Maybe a connection ended, a heartbreak happened, or a cycle repeated. But in the aftermath, you discovered inner clarity, resilience, and even a kind of quiet optimism that you carried forward. The Star reminds us that the past wasn't only about pain or endings. It also brought you guidance, healing, and a clearer sense of what you truly desire in a relationship. If you're single, this might reflect past experiences where you had to navigate your own hopes and dreams while letting go of situations that weren't aligned with your highest good. Perhaps there were relationships that didn't nurture your soul, but you found your footing again, reconnected with your own sense of self-worth, and learned to hold on to the vision of the kind of love you actually want. If you're in a relationship, the Star might show the healing processes that have taken place for both of you, individually or together. Perhaps you had challenging periods, miscommunications, or disappointments, but these experiences helped both of you understand what you truly need to feel secure, valued, and inspired by love. It's an energy that reminds you to see the bigger picture. Even if things were rough, there was growth, learning, and hope for a better dynamic moving forward. Even if you've been in a situationship, the Star shows that even ambiguous or uncertain connections brought insight and self-reflection. Maybe there was confusion or frustration, but deep down, you learned what you value in a partner, what dynamics feel nourishing versus draining, and how to honor your own heart amidst uncertainty. The Page of Pentacles adds a very grounded, practical energy. The Page of Pentacles can absolutely represent a person in your past, someone who approached love with curiosity, care, and a willingness to learn, but maybe in a tentative or cautious way. They weren't reckless or impulsive, and perhaps this made the connection feel slow, steady, or sometimes a little frustrating if you were looking for more immediate passion or movement. Maybe this was someone you cared about deeply, or someone whose energy taught you a lot about love, boundaries, and trust. Even if this person is no longer in your life, their influence might still linger in subtle ways. You might catch yourself comparing new connections to how things felt with them, or you may notice patterns that stem from that experience, like being cautious, protective of your heart, or even hesitant to fully open up. Their energy might still echo in your thoughts, your expectations, or the way you approach intimacy and emotional sharing. Their presence in your memory, or the lingering energy, is like a gentle guide, showing you what you value, what you don't want, and what a healthy connection looks like. You might feel nostalgia or longing, but the star reassures you that clarity, hope, and guidance are also there, reminding you that the past can inform, but it doesn't have to dictate your present or future love. So even if a person from the past still lingers in your heart or mind, these cards are saying, let the lessons guide you. Don't let the memory hold you back. If this is not a person from your past, the Page of Pentacles could also reflect your own energy in the past, the way you've approached love practically and cautiously. You might have taken your time to understand your patterns, reflected on what went wrong in past relationships, and consciously tried to improve how you show up. It's about learning, trial and error, and laying down the foundations for healthier connections. You were observing, growing, and experimenting in a way that would help you attract the right type of love moving forward. In a relationship, this card could show that perhaps either you or your partner brought this grounded, thoughtful energy into the dynamic. Maybe you've been learning together about boundaries, about communication, about how to nurture a stable and loving partnership. There could have been a slower pace, more careful steps, or a focus on practical matters that supported emotional connection. In a situationship, the Page of Pentacles may highlight a learning period, whether it's you or the other person, where you were figuring out what works, what feels safe, and what doesn't. It's the energy of curiosity and care, but also of caution. You or they may have been exploring feelings tentatively, unsure of what the future held, but wanting to do things right, or at least thoughtfully. Together, the Star and Page of Pentacles tell a story of healing and grounded growth. The Star shows the light, the hope, the inspiration, and the spiritual guidance that's been available to you, while the Page of Pentacles shows the tangible, practical steps you or another person took to move forward. It's the combination of emotional and spiritual insight with practical learning. You weren't just dreaming of love, you were taking the steps to create it consciously. It could also show how past lessons have taught you to recognize red flags, nurture what's healthy, and leave behind what doesn't serve you. Ultimately, these cards suggest that your past has set the stage for something meaningful in the present and future. You've carried lessons of hope, resilience, and practical growth into your current energy. You've learned to dream about the kind of love you want while simultaneously taking real-world steps to align with it. So, as we move forward in the reading, keep in mind the foundation has been laid. The past has taught, healed, and prepared you. You now have the tools, the hope, and the grounded energy to step into the love that aligns with your heart, your values, and your highest good. Now we move into love opportunities for 2026. Four of Swords, Queen of Cups, King of Cups, Five of Swords, the Tower, the Chariot. First, there could be a period where the best thing you can do for your heart is to stay single, to step back and to regain your equilibrium. Maybe 2025 left some lingering emotional fatigue, heartbreak, or patterns that haven't fully healed yet. The cards are reminding us that sometimes the most important opportunity is the one that asks you to pause, reflect, and focus on yourself. Maybe there is the need for a strategic pause to rebuild your inner foundation. So if you're single, this might feel like a stay in your own lane period. This love opportunity is not about meeting someone new immediately, but about strengthening yourself and your emotional resilience. If you're in a relationship, perhaps this energy points to a time for reflection and reevaluation, understanding your needs, boundaries, and patterns so that any connection you nurture moving forward is healthier and more fulfilling. In a situationship, this period could feel frustrating. It might seem like nothing is moving, but the cards are showing that standing still and observing is actually an opportunity. It's a chance to recognize what you want versus what you've been accepting, and to see clearly which dynamics truly serve your heart. Sometimes the best opportunity is the one that allows you to heal, reflect, and prepare. Love isn't just about action or external events. It's also about internal alignment, learning, and patience. The next love opportunity for 2026 is represented by the Queen of Cups. And I feel here we're talking about a person. This is someone who radiates emotional intelligence, empathy, and nurturing energy. They are caring, compassionate, and in touch with their feelings. Being around them feels safe, like someone who understands without judgment and is willing to support you through highs and lows. If you're single, this could be someone who enters your life to awaken your emotional side or to help you reconnect with what love really feels like. They may be someone who draws you out of patterns of self-protection or past hurt, gently guiding you to open your heart again. You might find yourself confiding in them, feeling heard, or understanding your own emotions more clearly simply by being in their presence. This is someone who values depth over surface-level connections. With them, conversations might go beyond small talk, touching on feelings, dreams, and the softer, hidden parts of yourself. For those already in a relationship, the Queen of Cups could indicate that your partner is stepping into a more emotionally supportive and present role. Maybe they've always cared, but now they are showing it in ways that feel heartfelt and consistent. Small acts of kindness, thoughtful messages, or simply being present when you need them. If you're in a situationship with this person, they could bring a depth that wasn't there before. Perhaps the connection has been casual or surface level, but their presence encourages a shift toward more emotional honesty. They may challenge the dynamic in gentle ways, for example, by asking thoughtful questions, expecting sincerity, or showing affection in ways that hinted emotional commitment without rushing. In general, this Queen of Cups energy can be healing. If you've experienced heartbreak, emotional neglect, or misunderstandings in the past, being around this person may help you relearn what nurturing and mutual respect feel like. Now, because it is clarified by the Tower, this connection will shake things up in a big way. It may challenge your existing structures, expectations, or emotional patterns, not because the person is destructive, but because deep, genuine emotional connection can't coexist with old patterns that are out of alignment. If you're single, this could show up as someone entering your life who makes you reevaluate what you want from love. You might have thought you knew what emotional safety or intimacy looked like, but this person could shift your perspective completely. There may be moments of emotional intensity, sudden realizations, or internal shifts where you notice old habits, fears, or assumptions about love being broken down. For those in a relationship, this could indicate that your emotional dynamic will undergo a restructuring or wake-up call. Perhaps the relationship has been comfortable but stagnant, or maybe unresolved patterns are lurking beneath the surface. The Tower energy paired with the Queen of Cups is transformative. It might involve confronting uncomfortable truths, emotional honesty, or facing dynamics you've avoided. While it may feel intense, it clears space for a more authentic, loving bond. In a situationship, this combination signals that emotional depth may arrive suddenly, and it could shift the dynamic entirely. Someone who was once casual may now show profound care, or subtle emotional undercurrents could suddenly demand acknowledgement. The Tower shakes the old superficiality away, asking both parties to face the reality of their feelings. This connection, whether new, ongoing, or emerging, will feel deeply emotional and transformative. You may experience moments of clarity where it's obvious what you need, what you deserve, and what you've been unconsciously avoiding. The Tower can be jarring, but it's a catalyst for change, for letting go of fear, old habits, or relationships that no longer serve you. The Queen of Cups ensures that you're not alone. There's empathy, care, and a sense of being seen at a soul level. The Tower suggests that the shifts in this connection may happen suddenly, possibly unexpectedly. The Queen of Cups, however, keeps it grounded. The emotions will be manageable, even if intense, and the growth they offer will be lasting. This is love helping you release the old and step into the new. Now, let's turn our attention to the King of Cups. The King of Cups embodies emotional mastery, balance, and maturity. This is someone or an energy that knows their emotions intimately, can navigate feelings without being overwhelmed, and offers love that is stable, compassionate, and steady. If you're single, the King of Cups suggests that a person with deep emotional maturity could enter your life. This isn't someone who plays games or reacts impulsively to their feelings. Instead, this is someone who understands both their own heart and yours, who can offer empathy without losing boundaries, and who can create a sense of safety for you to open up. For you personally, this card is also a reminder. Even if love isn't present yet, you can cultivate your own emotional mastery. You may notice that your past experiences have taught you how to regulate your emotions, but this card says, take it a step further. Practice patience, compassion, and steadiness in your heart. For those currently in a relationship, the King of Cups indicates that the connection has the potential to reach emotional maturity and stability. If challenges arise, this card shows that you or your partner can navigate conflicts calmly, communicate with compassion, and maintain balance even when emotions run high. This card is about emotional leadership within love. It asks you to rise above reactive patterns, not by suppressing feelings, but by understanding them fully and responding intentionally. The King of Cups energy can help you see your partner's perspective, remain grounded in challenging moments, and create a space where both of you can grow together. For relationships that have been tumultuous or inconsistent, this card signals a shift towards stability and emotional reliability. If you're in a situationship, the King of Cups brings a reminder that emotional depth and consistency are possible, even in unconventional or uncertain arrangements. This card challenges you to assess whether this connection can evolve into something stable and nurturing. If it can, it will require emotional honesty, patience, and compassion from both sides. The King of Cups also highlights the importance of boundaries and integrity. Even if the situation is playful or casual, this energy asks, are your hearts aligned? Are both of you engaging in a way that is conscious, ethical, and emotionally safe? This is a card that favors emotional accountability and maturity in any dynamic. Unlike the Tower Queen of Cups energy, which is transformative and disruptive, the King of Cups brings stability. The King of Cups energy is not sudden like the Tower. It arrives gradually, often after you've processed past lessons, healed old wounds, and built emotional resilience. This card suggests that the timing for this kind of connection or emotional clarity will come when you are prepared to meet love with both maturity and compassion. Even if love hasn't arrived yet, the King of Cups energy may show up in your personal growth, self-reflection, and emotional development. The Chariot adds direction, movement, and forward momentum. It suggests that this emotional maturity isn't stagnant. It's active, intentional, and purposeful. The Chariot brings movement, often rapid once direction is clear. This means that when emotional clarity or a mature connection is on the horizon, it could come with decisive energy. I want to go more in depth about the Queen of Cups and the King of Cups. First, if they represent someone, how to recognize them. The Queen of Cups has a very distinct emotional and intuitive energy. They may have a soft, compassionate presence or an artistic, creative expression. Think someone who feels in touch with their feelings and the feelings of others. You'll know them by the way they carry themselves and how they make you feel. They're empathetic and deeply caring. When they're around, people often feel understood. They listen with intention. They're present, fully engaged in conversation, and remember the small details that matter to you. You might notice they prioritize emotional depth over surface level things. They're drawn to authenticity and genuine connection. You might notice they prioritize emotional depth over surface level things. They're drawn to authenticity and genuine connection. The King of Cups exudes emotional mastery and steadiness. They communicate with emotional intelligence, thoughtful, reflective, and considerate in how they express themselves. They are calm under pressure, someone who rarely loses control of their emotions, even in chaos. Their presence feels grounding, like a stabilizing force in your life. When they're around, you feel safe, heard, and respected. Look for someone who acts intentionally, doesn't rush decisions in love, and shows maturity in both words and actions. If they are new people in your life, you may meet the Queen of Cups in spaces that encourage emotional depth or creative expression. A workshop, a gallery, a class, or even in a spiritual or volunteer setting. Sometimes they appear through friends or family, someone your inner circle already trusts. For the King of Cups, you might meet them in more structured or calm environments, work, professional settings, classes, or spaces where reflection and balance are emphasized, like a wellness retreat, a library, or a yoga studio. They could also come through mentorship or guidance, someone who initially supports you through challenges and later becomes a significant emotional presence in your life. Now, let's explore the energy of these connections. Three of Wands. Knight of Pentacles. For the Queen of Cups connection, there is a sense of emotional expansion and possibility. It's the kind of energy that encourages you to look forward, to see beyond your current horizon, bringing opportunities to explore, expand, and envision the future. It really ties in the Tower from earlier, but with the reassurance that it will be a gentle energy of exploration. For those in a relationship, this energy suggests a phase of growth and expansion, even if the connection already exists. It's inviting you to explore new layers of intimacy, shared goals, and mutual support, pushing both of you to envision what comes next together. For the King of Cups, the energy feels grounded and steady, not only emotionally, but also practically. It could manifest in shared responsibilities, planning for the future, building a home or routine together, or simply supporting each other in concrete ways. If you're single, this might signal a connection that enters your life in a grounded, tangible way, not fleeting or purely romanticized, but one that could evolve into something lasting. If you're in a relationship, it suggests stability, practical support, and the solidification of shared life plans. If you're in a situationship with the King of Cups, the energy is inviting clarity, responsibility, and the possibility of turning things into something concrete. Now, let's take a look at the timing of these connections. When the energy of these people or connections is most likely to enter your life or come into focus. The Lovers. Death. Starting with the Queen of Cups, this speaks strongly to the month of June, Gemini season. This is when this bond might surface, become more noticeable, or present opportunities to deepen intimacy, depending on your circumstances. For the King of Cups, it's a bit more subtle. Death is about transformation, endings, and new beginnings. So the timing here isn't a specific calendar month, but a season of change in your life. This person or this connection may arrive or become relevant after a significant emotional shift or a phase of release in your own life. Here, timing is more transformational, tied to your personal growth and cycles of emotional evolution. On this note, let's explore what love is trying to teach you in 2026. Eight of Swords. Page of Wands. Here, there is a reminder. Don't get trapped by your thoughts. The Eight of Swords asks you to notice when your mind is spinning in circles, imagining worst-case scenarios, or creating limitations that aren't real. In 2026, love wants you to see clearly, release unnecessary mental blocks, and step into connections with openness instead of hesitation. I'm recalling the Hermit energy earlier, asking you to stop withdrawing, and the message becomes even clearer. Don't get into overthinking. Don't worry with the what ifs. And the Page of Wands adds to that. This is such an exciting card because it's all about openness to new opportunities. Love is teaching you to remain open-hearted, adventurous, and willing to take small risks. This doesn't mean rushing in blindly, but it's about allowing yourself to experience, to experiment, and to see where things may lead. The Page of Wands brings energy of lightness and enthusiasm, encouraging you to be playful and engaged with love rather than overthinking or holding back. Let's look at the challenges you might encounter in love in 2026. Empress, Nine of Cups. With the Empress, the challenge can be around over-identifying with the idea of love or putting too much focus on external appearances or idealized notions of relationships. Maybe there's a tendency to want everything to feel perfect or to unconsciously expect someone else to fulfill all your emotional needs. This can create imbalance if your own needs and self-nurturing aren't fully integrated. The Empress reminds you to nurture yourself first, rather than relying solely on a relationship for happiness. The Nine of Cups reminds you that not everything that feels good is truly fulfilling. The challenge is to discern surface-level comfort from authentic emotional satisfaction and not settle for what looks good temporarily. If you're single, you may meet someone who seems exciting, charming. The challenge here is not to let yourself be swept in by the initial thrill while overlooking red flags or misalignments in values. Ask yourself, does this connection genuinely support my growth and happiness, or does it just feel good in the moment? If you're in a relationship, the cards challenge you to look under the surface. Are your needs truly being met? Are you giving or receiving more than is healthy? Are there habits or comforts that prevent deeper intimacy and emotional alignment? In a situationship or casual dynamic, these cards might highlight a temptation to cling to what's comfortable, even if it's not fulfilling long term. You may enjoy the attention, the affection, the sense of connection, but part of the lesson is noticing whether the dynamic supports your emotional growth or simply keeps you in a loop of temporary satisfaction. In every scenario, these challenges are gentle nudges rather than warnings. They ask you to stay mindful of your desires, honor your own emotional needs, and not settle for less than what resonates with your true heart. Now, let's look at how to align yourself with your highest good in love this year. King of Wands, Four of Wands. This is about stepping into your personal power and confidence. Be courageous to pursue what you desire. Show up fully as yourself. When you show up as yourself with confidence, you naturally attract love that matches that energy. If you're single, this energy is saying it's time to pursue love with intention. Don't wait for love to come to you. Take action in ways that feel natural. This could be putting yourself out there, joining communities, or engaging in hobbies where you meet like-minded people. When you embody your personal power, your confidence radiates, and people are drawn to you because they feel your clarity and authenticity. If you're in a relationship, the King of Wands asks you to take the lead in cultivating growth and vision together. This could mean planning shared goals, creating exciting experiences, or even initiating conversations that help deepen your connection. It's about taking responsibility for your own happiness first, which allows you to offer love freely rather than out of need or expectation. For those in a situationship, the King of Wands encourages clarity and courage. If you're unsure of the direction, use this energy to communicate boundaries, express desires, and decide what you want to move toward. It's a gentle but firm reminder that you don't have to settle for ambiguity. The Four of Wands, I feel, is more about you and your energy. You're entering 2026 in a space where stability, joy, and inner harmony are available to you. This is a card of celebration, sociability, and connection. Go out, be seen, celebrate life, surround yourself with people who lift you up, friends, family, colleagues, communities that make you feel supported and joyful. Let's pull some oracle for further guidance. I was called to pull 3 cards, and the first one is Divine Power, number 40, with the message, I can experience the divine power. This card is so powerful, especially after everything we've explored in this reading. It's reminding you that you are connected to a higher guidance, a force that is supporting you in your journey in love. Whatever challenges, endings, or patterns we've talked about, you are never navigating them alone. The second oracle card is Yes. And honestly, this is such a strong, validating card to receive here. After everything that's come up in this reading, this card feels like a clear green light from the universe. If you had a question bothering you, take this as a sign. In general, this card is especially important when we remember the mental traps of the Eight of Swords. This card is saying, the moment you stop asking, what if it goes wrong? And start asking, what if it works? Things begin to shift. Love doesn't need endless analysis or perfect timing. It needs your permission. And paired with divine power, this becomes even clearer. You're not saying yes blindly. You're saying yes while being divinely supported. So if you've been waiting for a sign, clarity, or confirmation in love, this is it. The answer is yes. Yes to love. Yes to connection. Yes to stepping out of old patterns and into a more open, embodied, emotionally available version of yourself in 2026. The next oracle card is Open-Hearted People. And this immediately brings me back to the Four of Wands energy we saw earlier. This card is a reminder that you are not meant to do this alone. Love, healing, joy, all of it is supported by the people around you. Friends, family, chosen family, communities, celebrations, everyday moments of connection. Open-hearted people suggest that in 2026, support is already around you or becoming available. This card also speaks to social spaces, gatherings, shared moments, invitations you might be tempted to decline. Saying yes, even casually, matters. Even beyond romance, this card is deeply reassuring. It says, you are supported. You are surrounded, or soon will be, by people who meet you with warmth. So if love feels uncertain at times, lean into your people. Let joy, friendship, and shared experiences anchor you. The Four of Wands energy tells us that connection itself is healing. And open-hearted people reminds you that your heart doesn't have to carry everything alone. And that brings us to the end of your 2026 love reading. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. I hope the messages and guidance you received resonated with you and offered you some clarity or reassurance as you step into the new year. Remember, take what feels aligned for you and leave the rest. If this reading spoke to you, feel free to leave a comment below, whether it's a thought, a feeling, or even just a little hello. If you enjoyed this reading, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to Silver Veil Tarot for more readings. Take care, trust your intuition, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye! Welcome, beautiful souls who chose the rose quartz. If you are drawn to this pile, there's a strong theme of the heart here. Rose quartz is deeply connected to love in its purest form. Not just romantic love, but self-love, emotional healing, softness, and compassion. It carries the energy of love, tenderness, and opening the heart. Your card here is Chantal. A new love story is approaching with a new person or thanks to the awakening of passion in your current relationship. Be open to giving and receiving love. How funny. I think this is the only card in the deck that explicitly speaks about romance. Well, 2026 might just be a very important year for love. Let's begin by looking at how you show up in love. Page of Swords. This energy speaks of curiosity, learning, and observation. You may be feeling cautious or careful, but it's not fear-based. It's thoughtful. You approach love like you want to understand it, understand the other person, and understand yourself within a connection. You might be drawn to intellectual connections, so conversations and shared ideas with a partner matter. If you're single, this could look like observing potential partners, paying attention to how they communicate, and being reflective about what you want. If you're in a relationship, the Page of Swords energy may show as a period of learning and adapting within your connection. You might be noticing patterns, yours, theirs, and how the two of you interact. Even if you've just experienced a heartbreak or a period of isolation, the Page of Swords shows that you're ready to step into love with fresh eyes, thoughtful energy, and openness to learning. Now, let's look at your current energy and love. Two of Cups. Nine of Cups. Right now, the energy you carry or the energy surrounding you is about creating deep, meaningful bonds. There's a natural flow of love between you and others, whether it's a potential partner, someone in your life now, or even a renewed connection in an existing relationship. This card shows mutual respect, mutual attraction, and a desire to build something balanced and supportive. If you're single, this is a sign that your heart is ready to recognize and respond to love when it appears. You are prepared to meet someone who sees you fully and values what you bring to the connection. For those in relationships, the Two of Cups energy might show as a harmonious reconnection, a renewal in the connection, or the deepening of emotional understanding. For those of you who are in a situationship, an unclear connection, the Two of Cups encourages you to tune into the emotional flow and recognize if the connection is balanced or if adjustments are needed. There's potential here for real mutual appreciation, but it will require awareness and clarity. Right now, you may feel a sense of longing or aspiration in love, a vision of what you truly want. This card shows that you are tapping into your desires and what truly makes you happy, whether it's a romantic connection or self-love. If you're in a relationship, this card reflects satisfaction, appreciation, and emotional harmony. You may feel grateful for what you already have or see the potential to create joy and fulfillment together. It can also indicate that you're entering a phase where your emotional needs are being heard and met, as long as communication remains clear. If you're not in a relationship, the Nine of Cups can indicate the type of love you are manifesting. You are learning to recognize your own value, understand what brings you joy, and imagine a relationship that aligns with your heart. It's a beautiful card showing that your intentions are clear and you know what you want to attract. This is a very promising energy for 2026. It shows that you are not only ready to receive love, but that you know your worth, your desires, and the type of connection that will honor your heart. Now we move into love patterns that are ready to be broken as you enter 2026. The Magician. The Six of Swords. I feel the Magician relates to this Page of Swords energy you're in. I feel you might have a tendency to romanticizing the beginning of relationships. Maybe you fall in love with potential. Maybe you feel the most alive in the early phase, the talking stage, the excitement, the anticipation. Maybe you're very energized by the spark, the conversations, the what could this be? But then you might struggle with following through. The pattern to break can show up as getting deeply excited at the start, then losing momentum once things ask for grounding. Struggling to transition from flirting, curiosity, fantasy into emotional consistency. Feeling most yourself when love is new, undefined, and full of magic, but less comfortable when it becomes real, structured, or vulnerable. And the Six of Swords reinforces this message. I feel like you might have a tendency to move on once the magic shifts, to emotionally or mentally disengage when the connection asks for depth or continuity. This can look like losing interest once the high fades, or telling yourself maybe this wasn't it after all, instead of allowing love to deepen. Love in 2026 is asking you to stay when the magic becomes real, to allow passion to evolve into intimacy, to let curiosity mature into commitment, whatever commitment means for you, to understand that love doesn't lose magic, it just changes and evolves. I have to add another message. I feel some of you might have a tendency to avoid conflicts. You may tell yourself you're choosing peace, and sometimes you are, but other times it's a way of avoiding uncomfortable conversations or emotional vulnerability. Sometimes they are necessary and you have to move through them. The pattern to break might be pulling back when something feels off rather than addressing it, letting connections fade instead of clarifying feelings, deciding internally that this isn't aligned anymore without giving the relationship space to transform. Also, with the Page of Swords, it might be that when tension appears, your instinct isn't to sit in the feeling, it's to think, reframe, rationalize, or distance mentally. And the Magician adds another layer. Maybe when conflict arises, you might think things like, I thought this was supposed to feel good. Maybe this means it's not right. Why is this already complicated? So, for some of you, the pattern to break isn't about leaving people, it's about leaving too soon, especially when something shifts from excitement into something more real. In 2026, love is asking you to stay curious through discomfort and to communicate instead of disappearing. Allow connection to deepen even when it becomes complex. Let's look at any past influences on the present. The Hanged Man. The Six of Wands. The Hanged Man suggests that in the past, you may have felt stuck or in limbo regarding love, maybe a relationship, maybe a personal pattern, but that stillness forced you to look at things from a new angle, to research a different perspective, or to reconsider how you approach love. You may carry a greater capacity to approach relationships with patience, empathy, and understanding. The Six of Wands for some of you might mean that something in your past gave you a sense of triumph or achievement in love, even if it wasn't a romantic victory in the traditional sense. Maybe you finally spoke your truth, set a boundary, or ended a cycle that was no longer serving you. Maybe you learned to stand in your own power, gain confidence in your worth, or see clearly what you want. That's a win. But for others of you, this card might speak to emotional validation. There might be a tendency to value attention more than emotional depth. Perhaps there was a moment where you felt admired, desired, or celebrated by someone, and that feeling mattered deeply to you. For some of you, this could represent finally getting attention from someone you waited on for a long time. It's a cycle to be aware of. This might be only for some of you. Now, let's move on to love opportunities in 2026. 10 of Wands. The Chariot. The Eight of Pentacles. The Moon. The Tower. The High Priestess. There are some powerful energies coming your way in 2026. I feel the 10 of Wands points to understanding what is ready to be released or completed. And with the Moon, you may be approaching the end of a cycle of uncertainty, where things weren't fully clear. Maybe there's a relationship or dynamic that has been hard to read. Things weren't always transparent, perhaps due to unspoken emotions, hidden intentions, or your own hesitations. If you're not currently with someone, the opportunity may come after you let go of a lingering attachment or after navigating through emotional uncertainty. You might meet someone new after a period of reflection, or you could realize that a previous crush or attraction was never aligned with your growth. The Moon suggests there's some discovery to be made. Maybe you realize what you truly want or learn to trust your intuition more in love. This energy could indicate a turning point in your relationship. Perhaps challenges or hidden issues are finally surfacing, allowing you to address them, gain clarity, and decide how to move forward. It could be a time where things feel heavy, but also transformative. By facing the unclear emotional depths signaled by the Moon, you're learning to navigate intimacy in a more conscious, balanced way. If you're currently in a situationship, this energy is especially telling. This combination strongly suggests a moment of reckoning. Maybe the uncertainty has been frustrating or draining, and 2026 brings an opportunity to either clarify, commit, or release. It's a chance to see the situation for what it really is, not what you wish it to be, and decide how to engage going forward. For a few of you, the 10 of Wands can suggest someone who comes into your life who has responsibilities or complexities. Maybe they are someone mature with their own challenges who offers lessons about support, boundaries, and balance. The Moon adds a layer of spiritual or emotional growth, reminding you that not everything is as it seems on the surface. You may be learning to trust your intuition and navigate emotional subtleties as part of this opportunity. But I feel for most of you, this opportunity is about growth, insight, and preparing yourself for clarity. The moon tells you to trust your intuition, even if things aren't fully revealed yet. And the Ten of Wands reminds you that letting go of what no longer serves you is essential. This is an important chance to close one chapter so the next can feel lighter, more aligned, and authentic. The next opportunity is represented by the Chariot, clarified by the Tower. This is a very powerful energy. I feel for most of you this represents a person. Someone who knows what they want, moves boldly toward it, and doesn't shy away from obstacles. The Chariot energy can appear as a person who is confident, intentional, and willing to take control of their romantic life. But this energy is really complex, and I'm called to unpack how this may manifest for different situations. For those who are single, this combination points to a new romantic opportunity that is likely to appear suddenly or in an unexpected way. It could be someone entering your life who challenges your previous ideas of love or shakes you out of old patterns. Perhaps this is someone bold, decisive, or a bit intense, someone who pushes you to move forward, face your own expectations, or take a risk emotionally. But the Tower indicates that old patterns are being dismantled. This applies to everyone. Everything we mentioned as love patterns to break now has the opportunity to emerge and be overcome. The process won't be comfortable, but it's a huge opportunity to work on yourself. This is your chance to break free from old cycles, to embrace decisive movement, and to allow transformation to create space for love aligned with your heart and soul. If you're single, you might meet someone new who shakes you out of old patterns, perhaps unexpectedly after previous disappointments or endings. They may challenge you, inspire you, or encourage you to step into your own power. If you're in a situationship, this could either be a new person embodying everything we said so far, or it could be the person you're currently involved with that evolves into the qualities of the Chariot. These cards indicate a moment where either the connection evolves or it ends abruptly. There is no middle ground here. If the Chariot is not a person, this can also be your own energy. Maybe you have the opportunity of becoming the Chariot. This means stepping into your power, taking control of your love life, and moving decisively toward what truly aligns with your heart and values. For those already in committed partnerships, this combination speaks to decisive growth and transformation within the relationship. The Chariot indicates that intentional steps can be taken to steer the relationship toward alignment, stability, and clarity. The Tower, however, indicates that some upheaval may be necessary. Perhaps old patterns, assumptions, or unspoken issues come to light. The lesson is that through conscious action, focus, and courage, the relationship can emerge stronger, more authentic, and deeply aligned. There may be emotional turbulence, but it is for the purpose of liberation, clarity, and rebuilding on a more solid foundation. Moving on, if we look at the Eight of Pentacles and the High Priestess, I feel this is first and foremost an opportunity to work on yourself. You might enter a period of hard work and self-development, where love isn't just about meeting someone or deepening a relationship. It's about actively working on yourself, your boundaries, and your emotional intelligence. The High Priestess reminds you to listen to your inner guidance, your instincts, and your intuition while you do this work. If you're in a relationship, this could also signify an opportunity for working on the connection, whether that means setting boundaries, communicating more intentionally, or nurturing shared goals. For some of you, this opportunity may present a person who inspires or encourages your growth. This could be a new connection, a potential partner, or even someone already in your life who enters with wisdom, insight, and an energy that challenges you to become your best self. This could be a person who sparks self-awareness and inspires you to level up in love. They may help you recognize patterns you hadn't noticed or guide you to approach relationships more intentionally. Overall, this is a layered energy, either a period of personal or relational hard work guided by intuition, or a person who enters to inspire and catalyze that growth. Let's take a look at the timing for these love opportunities in 2026. Timing in tarot is always flexible and intuitive. It gives us a general sense of when energies may peak or become active, but it's never rigid. Two of Swords. Nine of Wands. Hanged Man. The Two of Swords reminds me of February, but it's a slow, tentative energy. It's not a sudden burst of change. Rather, it's the moment when the energy begins to shift. The second opportunity, the Chariot clarified by the Tower, is paired with the Nine of Wands, and I feel it can manifest around September. But the Nine of Wands might also indicate that this energy might emerge when you're ready, especially when you're not guarded. Later, we'll pull some cards to guide you on how to align yourself with the highest good in love. I feel the Hanged Man energy, on the other hand, might appear toward the end of the year. Across all three opportunities, 2026 shows a progression from the end of a cycle to decisive shifts and breakthroughs, and finally to personal growth. Before we move on, I'm called to take a closer look at the Chariot energy. This energy was complex, and I want to deep dive, especially the possibility of this Chariot being a person. Nine of Pentacles. Seven of Pentacles. The energy they're showing up as is self-sufficient, grounded, and established in their own life. They carry a sense of independence and stability, someone who knows their worth and isn't defined by external validation. If this is a new person entering your life, they may come in already having a solid foundation, emotionally, materially, or spiritually. And for those in a relationship, it could reflect the partner taking a more intentional, grounded stance, showing up as someone who wants to build something lasting and real. The energy of the connection itself is represented by the Seven of Pentacles. This tells me that this connection is a space of planting seeds, waiting, and seeing what grows. It requires patience, care, and attention. You'll both have to invest energy, nurture the dynamic, and allow it to evolve organically. So the connection asks for patience, investment, and openness to transformation with the Tower. Now, let's look at what love is trying to teach you in 2026. Two of Cups. Eight of Wands. The Two of Cups showed up earlier as current energy. Lovely. I feel you already know what connection feels like when it's aligned, healthy, and reciprocal. You've experienced the energy of being seen, valued, and matched on both a heart and soul level. A lesson here is trust that you can recognize it when it appears. And with the Eight of Wands, a lesson is also, when something is good, when a connection feels aligned, don't hesitate, leap. When love shows up and feels right, move forward confidently. It's a powerful lesson. When it's right, act. When the energy is mutual, aligned, and flowing, trust yourself enough to step in with openness and courage. Let's look at challenges you might encounter in love in 2026. Ace of Pentacles. Six of Wands. The Ace of Pentacles as a challenge is really interesting. I feel like it highlights practical or logistical obstacles that might get in the way of love. Perhaps life circumstances, responsibilities, or personal goals demand your attention, making it harder to fully invest in a connection. Maybe you're worried about finances, routines, or the practical aspects of a partnership, and this caution slows you down. The Six of Wands appeared earlier in your reading as a past influence, and its return here is significant. In this context, it highlights the shadow aspect of recognition and validation. There may be a tendency to value attention, success, or appearances more than emotional depth and authentic connection. It could show up as comparing your relationship to others, seeking approval, or needing external acknowledgement to feel secure. Awareness is key. By recognizing these dynamics, you can navigate love with intention, focus on authentic emotional connection, and prevent practical or external pressures from derailing your heart. Now, let's explore how to align with your highest good in love in 2026. Two of Wands. It jumped out as I was shuffling. It really wants our attention. The Magician. Interesting. The Magician appeared earlier as a love pattern to break, and is also relevant here. Let's start with the Two of Wands. This card is asking you to reflect and consider carefully what you truly want in love. Think beyond just short-term desires or immediate attractions. Think about your long-term emotional and relational goals. It asks you to reflect what kind of connection will truly nourish your heart. Ask yourself, what energy do I want to cultivate within myself and attract in a partner? This is also a moment of strategizing and planning. This is particularly relevant considering what we've seen earlier in the reading. Patterns like the Magician energy, the tendency to romanticize beginnings, to idealize the potential of a relationship, or sometimes to follow charm or excitement instead of deeper compatibility. The Two of Wands in this position is saying, don't repeat that pattern. There's a subtle reminder here from the Magician as well. You already possess everything you need to manifest the relationship or emotional state you desire. Skills, creativity, self-knowledge, and intuition are all in your hands. The difference now is how you direct them. You already have the tools, the insight, and the intuition to choose wisely. You can consciously create the love you want. It's about intentional action. Reflect on what's been working for you, what hasn't, and what you're ready to truly step into. For those who are single, this card suggests the importance of clarity before action. Who do you want to invite into your life? What patterns are you ready to leave behind? And importantly, how will you show up differently this year, armed with all the lessons you've already learned? For those in relationships, the Two of Wands asks you to reflect on where the relationship is heading. Are your intentions aligned? Are both of you on the same page about what you want emotionally, practically, and spiritually? It's about planning together, acting together. There's also a broader reminder here. The Two of Wands is about vision paired with action. Think, reflect, plan, and then move. Take steps that align with what your heart truly wants. And remember, as we saw with the Magician, you are fully equipped to create the love story you desire. Now, let's move on to your oracle cards, which offer guidance and insight to support your journey through 2026 in love. The first card is Security and Safety, number 11. I'm confident that life will provide me everything I need. This card carries a deeply reassuring message. You are supported. It's a reminder that even amidst uncertainty, endings, or challenges, like the Ten of Wands or the Tower we saw earlier, there is a foundation of safety beneath your feet. This message resonates strongly with the Page of Swords energy. Security and safety encourages you to trust that your observation, your discernment, and your reflection are guiding you in the right direction. The number 11 also carries a spiritual undertone. It's a master number associated with intuition, insight, and alignment with your higher self. This reminds you that part of feeling secure is trusting yourself. Your instincts, your wisdom, and your reflections are guiding you toward love that is authentic and nourishing. As we saw with the Magician at the end, you already possess what you need: the clarity, the patience, and the discernment to navigate your love life. The second oracle card is Communicate Clearly. This is such a timely and essential message for you in 2026, especially in the context of everything we've already explored in this reading. Love this year is asking you to speak your truth, to express your needs, and to share your feelings openly. This card is about honest, direct, and compassionate communication. If you recall the Six of Swords as love pattern to break, this card directly addresses those tendencies. Where in the past you might have pulled away or avoided difficult conversations, Communicate Clearly invites you to step into a new way of interacting, one that doesn't shy away from emotional honesty. If you're single, Communicate Clearly is a reminder that clarity is magnetic. The connections you are seeking are looking for someone who is willing to be authentic, honest, and emotionally available. If a potential partner enters your life, whether suddenly, like the Chariot, or more slowly, like the Eight of Pentacles energy, the way you express yourself will set the tone for the connection. Speak openly about what you want and what you value. For those in relationships, this card is a call to speak up, even when it feels vulnerable or challenging. Whether it's clarifying expectations, sharing emotional needs, or addressing lingering patterns. True connection grows when you allow yourself to be fully seen and heard, and equally when you listen with presence and compassion. Even in situationships or complex dynamics, communicate clearly is crucial. If you want the connection to evolve, it's your clarity that sets the pace. The combination of this card with all the transformative energies in 2026, Tower, Chariot, High Priestess, and the Moon, is saying the breakthroughs you're seeking will come through honest, aligned communication. This card also ties back to the Page of Swords energy you hold right now. Curious, thoughtful, and observant. Communicate clearly isn't just about talking. It's about being mindful, intentional, and present in your expression. Your words can build bridges, dissolve misunderstandings, and create fertile ground for the love you are ready to welcome. This oracle card is urging you to speak your truth, even when it feels vulnerable. Express needs and boundaries openly and respectfully. Be authentic in all connections, whether new, evolving, or long-standing. The third oracle card is Vigor and Success, number 35. I believe in myself and my success. I feel this is such a positive note. 2026 holds the potential, not only for growth and lessons, but for joy, fulfillment, and happy resolutions in love. For singles, this can indicate meeting someone who aligns deeply with your heart, or finally stepping fully into a connection that reflects your worth. For those in relationships, it signals renewal, clarity, and the ability to navigate challenges toward a stronger, more joyful bond. Even in situationships or complex dynamics, it shows that honest communication and intentional action can lead to a satisfying outcome. And that brings us to the end of your 2026 love reading. Remember the message of your card, Chantal, be open to giving and receiving love. Let this be your guiding light as you move through the year. If this reading resonated with you, I'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment, share your thoughts, or just say hi. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Silver Veil Tarot for more readings. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. Bye for now, and see you in the next reading.